It was a Tuesday afternoon at around 4 o'clock in May of 1973. Near Lake Common, Sandown, there was Faye and another boy near her age. As they were walking, they heard a weird wailing noise, something similar to an ambulance siren. They followed the noise across golf links and through a hedge leading to a swampy meadow. Suddenly, the noise stopped. They were crossing over a wooden bridge when suddenly a gloved hand appeared from under the bridge, and a strange figure emerged. The figure, standing there in front of them, dropped a book into the water, then splashed around to retrieve it. The two children then saw this figure enter a metallic hut, a hut similar to those used by construction workers. This figure moved strangely, in a weird hopping motion, with its knees raised high. The children soon after moved away, about 50 yards away from where the figure had entered the building. Suddenly, the figure reappeared, carrying a microphone. The wailing noise suddenly returned, this time being so loud that the boy ran away. The noise suddenly stopped. This figure spoke into the microphone, and it was so loud that even though the children were 50 yards away, they could hear him say, "Hello, are you still there?" And what sounded as a friendly tone made the children come closer to this figure. As they neared the figure, they realized he or she or it was 7 feet tall, and that it had no neck. His head appeared to be wedged straight onto its shoulders. It wore a yellow pointed hat, which interlocked with the red collar of a green tunic, and a round black knob was affixed to the top of his hat, and wooden antennae were attached to either side. The face itself, the eyes, they were triangular. The nose was a brown square, and the lips were motionless and yellow. There were other markings that were on his paper white cheeks, and a fringe of red hair fell onto his forehead. Wooden slats protruded from his sleeves and from below his white trousers. While the children were there, he wrote in a notebook. It said, "Hello, and I am all colors, Sam." The boy was scared. Faye, though, read every word as his figure pointed it out. This was necessary because the writing was not written in a logical manner. He would point to each word and the children would read it. The children got closer, and they noticed that this creature could speak without the aid of the microphone. As the children approached, he asked the children about themselves. So they asked questions to him also. They asked about his clothes that were tattered. They also asked him, "Is he really a man?" This figure looked at the children, laughed, and said, "No." Children were curious. They asked, "Are you a ghost?" Which he replied, "Well, not really, but I am in an odd sort of way." They continued with, "What are you then?" And he looked at the children and said, "You know." He did not explain this any further. He also told the children that he had no name and that there were other beings like him. He drew a sketch of one of those beings. He also told the children that he was afraid of people and scared that they might hurt him. Apparently, if attacked, he would not fight back. This creature then invited the children into his hut. The children crawled in, and through a flap, there were 2 levels. The lower had plenty of headroom and was wallpapered in blue-green and covered in patterns of dials. It also had an electric heater and simple wooden furniture. He told the children that he ate berries, and specifically ones that he had collected that afternoon. He didn't say where, but he did indicate that he had a camp on the mainland that he would go to. He also said that the water from the river could be drunk once he had cleaned it. Now, once inside, he removed his hat to reveal round white ears and sparse brown hair. As he was about to eat one of the berries, he performed an unusual trick. He placed the berry in his ear, thrust his head forward, and caused the berry to disappear and reappear at one of his odd eyes. Repeating the process, the berry traveled to his mouth. The children continued to speak with the strange creature for over half an hour, and after saying goodbye, they rushed across the golf links to tell the first man they met that they'd seen a ghost. The man merely laughed, but the children were convinced of their experience and that the being was either a ghost or someone dressed up. Some 3 weeks later, Faye told her father of this experience. At first, he found it unbelievable, as most people would, but he was amazed at the detail that Faye would give regarding this experience. She was also quite upset when he suggested that she'd made it up. Faye's father went to the boy and also found him not easy to communicate with, though he did get a statement that verified Faye's story. There was such extraordinary detail, however. This included the further point that the creature clearly had only 3 fingers on each blue glove and 3 toes on his bare white feet, making a deliberate hoax somewhat difficult. And indeed, why would they go through all that trouble? Faye's father says, "I get the impression that Faye was somehow taken into a bubble of alien reality created by this strange personage. He told them he had just made the hut. Also, Faye told me that while they were talking to this ghost, 2 workmen nearby were repairing a post. They paid no attention to the weird charade, as though they could not see it." Again, the question is, what did the children see that day? What did they see in Sandown, near Lake Common? Was this a hoax? Was this one of the construction workers? Was this unusual spaceman? An alien? A being from an alternative dimension? Or was it a ghost? Till this day, the children, who are now adults, have not changed their story. They have not stated that it was a lie and it was fabricated. Will we ever truly know what the Sandown clown was? Or is this just another mystery left to be unsolved?